This
All right.
conference will now be recorded.
Good to go. Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. We'll start out by doing the roll call. Megan?
Jeff Joyner,
Here.
David Rowley,
Here.
Jeff Lord,
Here.
Craig Galvesman,
Here.
Tom Romeo,
Here.
Patricia Kennedy is absent, Cheryl Robinson, here, Andrew Marietta,
Here.
Josh Edmonds.
Here. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. It's nice to see all of us together here as a group. It's been a long time since we've been around this table, so it's just wonderful to see. Hopefully, we will continue to move in a positive direction for the health of our community as well as just the economic health of our community. So let's move forward. We have some guests today. Are they on?
Chris isn't here yet.
You told me 2 minutes.
I
All right, so why don't we go down, we've got the minutes from the previous meeting of July 29th in your packet. Any comments, questions, changes? If not, can I get a motion to approve?
I like the motion.
Thank you, Dave. Can I get a second? Second, Jeff. All in favor of approval of the minutes?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. So why don't we go down and do the report of the Audit and Finance Committee? Jeff?
Well, as typical, I guess, let the minutes speak for the discussion that we had, and be more than willing to answer any questions anybody has.
Any questions from the committee? All right, if not, could we get a motion to approve the report of the Audit and Finance Committee? Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I believe our guests are with us today. So Megan, I'll let you or Jody want to introduce. And
Good morning, Chris. Can you hear us?
I can. Good morning.
Morning.
So we just, I sent everyone Ryan's email. I don't know if you were copied on that, but it basically told about the updates for the new campaign and some of the people that we are thinking about interviewing for the blog. And so the board just wanted to kind of talk about the last campaign, how it ended, and kind of talk about the transition into the new one.
Okay. Great. So the contract with PaperKite was signed last month. They have started to launch the updated campaign. The updated campaign is based on the goals that Otsego now has for this year, and also the results of last year. Last year's campaign, long story short, ended up with a large amount of visitors to the Otsego Now website, a little over 1,000 people contacting Otsego Now, and just basically increasing, the exposure. These are, again, there's two-part campaign. We've got people that are looking for business opportunities. We're seeing the Otsego Now advertising and landing on the special Otsego Now page, and then also people that were looking for alternative living situations, people that were looking to relocate out of New York City. We were presenting Otsego County as an option for those people. So for this campaign coming up, we are continuing that lifestyle campaign for individuals looking to relocate. But actually the majority of the advertising dollars is going to be towards people looking for business resources. So the lifestyle side of it, one of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing on individuals in Otsego County who have successfully relocated. And those could be individuals who have come here, started a business, come here, successfully found, a place to work, or, individuals that work as freelancers. They work from home successfully. So PaperKite was tasked with identifying, I think it's like 10 to 15 of those people. Then we're going to get as many of them as we can. We're going to interview them, we're going to profile them, and then we're actually going to run their stories and their photography and everything as advertising. This is actually based on a campaign that we saw running, that Florida is running, and they've been running it for a long time in the New York Times, where they did something similar. They would basically highlight people that have moved to different locations in Florida. We're basically that's gonna be our content for this year. So instead of just like, it's great here, we're gonna actually do a more proof is in the pudding type campaign, where we're gonna actually show people that have successfully and happily moved to Otsego County. So that's one part of it. And then the other part of it, the business side of it, we're completely overhauling the business landing page. PaperKite is that they are sending for review to Otsego Now September 4th. And that's basically, we spoke with some of the guys at Custom Electronics, and we spoke with Otsego Now, and we're basically going to just beef up that page quite a bit to have a lot more content that business people might find more relevant, because right now it's just very basic. And so that's going to have its own whole advertising program linked to it, where when people do a variety of different searches for resources, they're going to basically be presented with this landing page. And it's all designed to hopefully create conversions and leads for Otsego Now to follow up on. So those are the two campaigns that are going to be running. They're hoping to have them running at least mostly by the end of September. And they're going to be showing us some stuff September 4th to look at. And then hopefully we're doing the photo and video shoots with the individuals identified for the lifestyle campaign in early September as well. Any questions?
Any questions from the committee?
I have one question, Chris, Tom. Many people heard me talk about abundance of clean, fresh water being our ace. We have it, a lot of the country's parched and dry. So keeping in touch with the pulse of the population, a month ago, for the first time in 40 years, a young man moved back here getting out of the military. He was in Idaho. I said, man, you were stationed in Idaho. He said, yeah, it was beautiful. But when we considered the water crisis, we decided to come home. I wonder if there's a, that's harder to do anything with, but, when Texas had low taxes, they had no problem having success going to California. Say, come here, it costs less to run a business. We have water. And is there, I don't do it now, but is there somewhere, of course, everything north of Minnesota has water. We're not the only ones, but, it's an advantage that we have that a part of the country doesn't have. And I still haven't heard anybody talking about it. And if I was marketing this company, certainly that would be on my list of things I would talk. It isn't pertinent to the people living in New York City because they have our water, but people living somewhere else, it is something other places do not have. And cost of living compared to California, we're probably cheap, or Southwest Texas. Just a thought.
That's a great point, Tom. And actually, when we were discussing it with PaperKite and Custom Electronics, we all decided that we were going to highlight that pretty heavily. Access to water, clean water. So that will be there. How much you want to push it, we certainly can add like keywords for advertising if people are searching for, I don't even know what the terminology would be. We'd have to research that. In other words, I don't know what somebody might search when they're looking for locations with access to water. But we are going to highlight that on the updated business landing page for sure.
All right, thank you.
Other questions for Chris? Comments?
He did a similar campaign for me a few years ago. Patricia was really happy to set went to work for me for a while, but it was a big lift. Those positive personal statements. It's reinforcement.
Resonates.
Cut out.
Mm-hmm. All right, Chris. I think we're all set for today. Thank you so much.
Okay. Have a good morning. We'll see you later.
Arizona was just being notified they're getting 30% reduction.
Starting in January.
Available.
And it's really gonna hurt mostly the farmers. There will be almost no farm, but then a 20% increase in cost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna get worse.
Okay.
You have a house there, you might think about selling it.
Mm-hmm.
You're a year late.
Yeah.
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 An A-ball. All right, moving on, bills and communications. Megan?
Seeing where Kurt went.
Did we lose Kurt?
It says he's on, but we can't see him.
Okay.
For expenses, there's only a few of them. Most are normal operating expenses. We did get a new sign from Prolific for Bird Truck, for the only had a business truck, but they're actually paying for that, so it is reimbursable. I did put the CRC in here, which we will approve in the CRC meeting, but the IDA is invoicing the CRC for the admin fees for the 2021 bond admin fees. So you'll also see that in there. And then on the deposit side, it's rent. We also got courting admin fees for a little over 147,000. We also got Cooperstown Center's annual admin fee. And we also got Cooperstown Center's tax payments, the 78,000, but that actually goes out to the taxing jurisdiction, so that's not technically our money. So I did put a comment there without those tax payments, so you know what actually is coming into the idea. That's it.
All right.
Good one. Just hold up the books.
Any comments? Can we get a motion to approve the bills and communications?
So,
Thank you, Dave. A second. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Josh. All in favor? Opposed? All right. Report of the projects committee, Cheryl?
Yeah, I'll let the meeting minutes, and I do just want to know, we had a really good conversation. Jody came forth with a list of several goals and really talked about narrowing that down and obviously focusing in on that visionary aspect and trying to understand where we're going. And so that was something Jody was taking away to work on for either the next projects committee or potentially the next board.
Okay, excellent. All right. Any other additional comments regarding the projects committee? All right, can we get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Jeff. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? All right, new and unfinished business. All right, Jody?
Actually, yesterday, we received a notice from the Office of Community Renewal that they have reviewed our initial discussion on the just retention of jobs as well as possible expansion. And they authorized us to submit a pre-application, which, to be honest, surprised me because justifying that jobs are going to be lost is not that easy until they usually say want to see pink slips. But we made a case for financial strength, product development. There's a good possibility that those jobs, manufacturing jobs, will be to keep the research jobs, but until they have something to manufacture, they'll keep. So we'll begin working on that probably. We've already got permission from the town board to submit the pre-application. So I did a presentation with my offices and the board unanimously agreed to submit the pre-application. We're treating this very similar to how we would treat custom electronics in the sense that we will not release any of the funds unless there's so many jobs being retained and created and so many matched expenditures. So basically what they have to do is for every $100 they spend, we'll reimburse them $40. So that the formula is mentioned that way. If there's ever a problem where they can't make 50 jobs retained and expand and added, if they only do 30, we still don't have to give any of the money back because we've done it.
How do you pay back or measure retained jobs? Like at what point? How does that work?
They have to be retained for the period of the grant.
Okay.
Still retained.
That'd be like a payroll audit that we do.
Yes.
There's really a hats off to you. I mean, a year ago, I was sure they wouldn't be staying. So,
Yeah.
you know, in working with them patiently and getting them committed to the long term, even 2 years, and I want to say years. So it's good community. Good job.
Yes. Very good.
Interestingly, Megan pointed this out to me on another project. The Cooperstown ball fields, we have an initial determination from the Office of Community Renewal that is not an eligible project. We're testing that because it's not directly in the regulations. But in the community development regulations, which is a pretty good sized book, there is a specific prohibition of giving any monies to golf courses. Because what they claim is that golf courses cater to rich people.
Privately owned, yeah.
Privately. And that as such, they don't, there's actually in the regulations, you're prohibited from making any type of grant.
A recreational facility, privately owned recreational facility. So that's why I asked you, like, wouldn't that be the same thing?
So since, and they specifically identify golf courses in the regulations.
Yeah.
Since ball fields are not specifically listed in the regulations, we're asking for a clarification on that. Now, I will agree that probably the majority of the people who use that facility are going to be not low and moderate income families. It's probably going to be upper income families. Right now, that project is not. Custom Electronics. Custom Electronics landed a huge contract with Entertainment Tonight, and they are redoing all of their studios with their flexible digital displays. In New York City right now, I think they're going to go live September 8th, September 28th. Because of that, they have a huge shipments coming in from China on parts that they'll be using assembly, and they're looking for another building. Get it right coming into it in probably 30 days because all the stuff is expected to be here within 5 to 6 weeks.
They're looking for a building, they want to be in it in 30 days? Are they looking to lease a building?
They're
Or acquire?
right now, they looked at a former auto dealership in Otago. And that's for sale. That is not for lease. So they're looking potentially to purchase that building. We submitted the Sears building in Onion, which is in the opportunity zone. I don't know if that's large enough for them. They said they would take a look at it. I was saying, thanks. I am looking at 3 times, and he's not sure.
What, I didn't hear the question.
What
How much
space?
Yeah.
And looking to actually move, or is he looking to just store?
Basically store and manufacturing, because these displays that they're building are the size of this wall. So
Okay, so
they need large wall space to assemble.
only on a bus line, Bill.
Only on
Bus lines, garage, building, the company folded. I don't know about competition to see, but big open building, they added a big addition on the back end of it 15 years ago.
So what's that, you know where it is?
Behind Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, west
Oh,
end.
behind the West End. Anyway, big parking lot, big open spaces, high ceilings, for factories or storage.
Any environmental concerns there, you think?
No, they were real super clean. The new addition, oil separator, inspectable, vents in the air. They've done a good, I looked at it and, you know, they don't know. The primary owner died a couple years ago. His son Jeremy lives down in Maryland or Virginia or someplace like that.
DC.
Been talking to him, but they have to do something. They're not sure what they're going to be doing, but, you know, it'd be handy for me, but it's not perfect, but it's a big open building. And I'm not sure how many square feet they're looking for because they're in a town.
Very close to the current custom building.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
you know, that would be an advantage.
Is it listed by a realtor?
No, it's not.
Can you
Because
give me his contact
you know,
information?
because you know me.
It's still,
It's a long time money on it, but it's, you want to know where it
The
is.
Hills family, yes.
It's close to Max Barbershop.
It's about 4 generations. I've run that, I mean,
so if committee members would send an email to Jody, any opportunities that you think of or you come up with or suggestions or ideas, that'd be great. Appreciate it. Jim,
That's the
Office
story.
of Homeless and Community Renewal.
And we did do an initial response to the Austin Community Renewal that's doing our monitoring inspection on exactly commences Tuesday. They asked for, they sent us an email asking for all of our files digitally. And I said, you gotta be kidding me. I mean, that'll take me a month to scan. And then they came back and said, oh, well, we didn't mean stuff that you've already sent to us. Or I said, well, in your list it says that copy the application. That'll take me 3 days to copy because it's like this thick. And there's huge maps and stuff. Oh, no, we don't want that. So we sent them a bunch of stuff yesterday and hopefully we have most of what they.
One other item, there's still room in the Ames Plaza.
Sorry.
There's room in the Ames Plaza too, in the middle part of that building, which is probably big and open, might even be a better application. Like, I'm not, the owners are muted, I think. But there's gym in one end and then, you know. That store in the other end or something.
Are they even still there?
Thousand.
Anyway, it might be.
Yeah, his old Agway property's right there. And you know,
They're already using that.
I'm saying, he drives by it every day.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're not, they're looking for steady growth as they expand. They're not looking to sort of create 50 jobs right away, but probably 5 to 10 in a year.
It will be hard pressed to find the 50 people they need right away. So I mean, it's current job.
Yeah.
What about the old hometown auto?
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's viable.
let's get something to Tigo here. How about some tax states?
You're doing that. That's got some big opening reason.
It does.
Yeah.
It's an aardvark for the dealership.
All right. Do we have any other new and unfinished business? Bring forward.
The only thing that I'll point out is that we've been working with several counties on this developers conference. It's supposed to be in October, Brownfield Development Conference. We did submit 2 sites, one obviously going out of rail yards. So this will be an example of what they're doing, and the other was the county highway.
In Cooperstown.
In Cooperstown, development. So we're getting 3 more.
Right?
Wow. I think they have.
Wonderful.
That highway garage
That's great.
very close to school property. Really close.
Oh, yeah.
You can imagine the county put it off on somebody else.
Yes, absolutely.
Good move.
County is gonna build a new highway garage, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere.
Right.
Timeline on that.
I haven't heard the recent update, but now that BOCES has new leadership, I mean, I think it's definitely moving forward.
It's still the cooperative thing, Josh, with the bus.
I think Milford's building their own garage. They kind of dropped off of it. I think maybe, I don't know if ARC at Otsego they've had a leadership change now, with Pat retiring. And so I'm not sure if ARC is still in the mix or not, but the county has to have that, a new building. And I think I have to ask Eric Scrivener, but I think there was actually RFP out on trying to get some quotes on building a building just to see what the pricing might be in range. So that's the last. I mean, there's a whole portion of that building that's unusable because of asbestos falling from the ceiling and issues. Well, the building would have to go away. I think we all.
There's scrutiny and some.
You just significantly increase the cost.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, it's the county's
I can attest to
county's
that.
problem. So
Whoa. Then we all get the bill for it.
Well, there's been I think a portion of that building for many years, there was a demolition, like spec'd out and everything. So I mean, this has been discussed for a long time.
The operative word discussed.
All right.
Well,
Forever, I mean.
yeah, right. I mean, it's a 10-year. I mean, I'm hoping it's not another 10 years, right? Exactly.
All right. Any other new or unfinished business? All right. Is there anybody on from the public? All right. I don't believe we need an executive session. So if not, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. Meeting is adjourned.
8:20.
All right. We're going to go to the OCCRC board meeting. We'll start out with a roll call, Megan.
Jeff Joyner,
Here.
David Rowley,
Here.
Jeff Ward, Craig Delpman.
Here.
Tom Armayo.
Here.
Tricia Kennedy is absent. Cheryl Robinson.
Here.
Andrew Marietta.
Here.
Jeff Edmonds.
Here.
Thank you. And the only thing I'll add to my remarks from the earlier meeting was thank you, Dave, very much for running the meeting last month. I appreciate that while I was away on vacation. So thank you. Approval of the meeting minutes from July 29th. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. We got a payment of the bills. We have an invoice.
That was
As
the
we
one I-
discussed earlier in the previous meeting. Any additional questions on that? Can we get a motion for the payment of the bills?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Josh. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And the one item we have under new and unfinished business?
Reviewing the two changes to the Paris report on the bond review. We discussed this at our last finance committee meeting that most of you were at. So I don't know if anybody wants to go through it again. But basically what we've been doing is since February, March, we've noticed some discrepancies in some of our reports that would go back, I think, almost 5 years, 6 years ago to present day. And there's only like really 3 major changes that have to be done. And it's basically, we all agree upon balances of where the bonds stand. It's just a matter of making some of the corrections to the reporting system.
Carefully went through that.
Yeah.
So we technically have to have the board of directors approve this because it is a change to numbers that were entered previously. And they want to make sure that the board of directors made mistakes.
So moved.
You technically have to have one, or you have to have one?
No, we technically have.
I'll second it.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. We have a seconded who? Just for the record, you did, Cheryl. Thank you. Any further discussion or questions?
And they did indicate that these were their numbers based on the numbers that we received from the banks and that they agree with it.
I've just done for the record that we carefully went through this.
Yeah.
At that meeting.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, and the, you know, some misunderstanding about total committed versus what the funding was at the date that it was funded. So it was, this is clean up and it gets us where the balances all square up as of today, and they're all.
And to be honest, my mistake on entering, I realized that last year, and there's no way to correct it without having the state go into the system and go back years, is that they have 2 screens. One is that you look at each individual project. So for example, for Springbrook, for the $25 million bond issue that was done, you have to report every year on how much was paid back. And then you go to the next one, which was Hartwood College, and you report how much of that bond was paid back. Then they have a separate screen that says all of your bonds on how much was paid back there. In every other, like small cities or any Empire State Development applications, or or New York State taxes, when you enter in one number, it recalculates it into the total screen. This one doesn't. You have to manually go in and change those numbers. It's like, I just assumed that your machine did that.
You know.
All right. Now we know. All right, we have a motion on the table. It's been first and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? All right, passes. Any need for an executive session? All right, seeing none, can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.